Hi and welcome to the day 3 project of my little Christmas tutorial marathon. This time I'll be creating a pure white wintry shaker card with lots of pearls. This card is created with an amazing Paper Grace die of the month for October 2021. I'll leave a link down below in the description so that you can check out that great subscription product designed by the incredible Becca Feakin. So this set contains 5 large dies. The largest one is about 5 by 7 inches. There are outline dies as well as the inserts. There are also 4 small dies included, and those are the flowers, the leaves and the stems, so that you can decorate that amazing swirly frame. Now let's get started and see what we can do with all those goodies. So I have positioned all the 5 frame dies on a piece of white cardstock and taped them down. I have placed the smaller ones inside the larger ones, and then I sent them through the die cutting machine. Then I popped out all the small pieces, which didn't take me a lot of time at all. This is going to create you 4 pieces. I'm not going to use the largest thin outline. All I need is the swirly large frame, the small lacy insert, and the space between them. This is what I'm going to create a shake card with. Next, I'm going to create a shaped card base using the largest die from the set. I have folded a sheet of light gray cardstock in half, and now I'm positioning the die over it so that one edge overhangs the folded line just a little bit, and this way it's not going to cut through. And then I'm going to secure the die in place using some washi tape. Then I'm going to run it all through the die cutting machine so that the die cuts through both layers at one go. And this is what my card base looks like. By the way, I'm using Spellbinders Platinum, which is the big die cutting machine, but for this die set you don't have to own one. You can totally use the 6-inch wide machine. Now when I have all the structural elements die cut, I can start assembling the card. And the first thing I'm going to do is to adhere that lacy frame onto the card base. So I'm flipping over the die cut and applying some liquid glue at the wrong side of it. You can use the spray adhesive if that's what you prefer. Then I'm placing the frame over the card base and I'm holding it down with a couple of large acrylic blocks until the glue dries. Then I'm also going to adhere the lacy insert in the center of the card, and I'm using that negative space to position the central die cut perfectly. I'm simply placing it inside the large frame, then I'm adhering the small one in the center, and then I can remove the space in between the frames. For this project, I'm also going to use that negative space between the frames to create a shaker window. But before I create the shaker element, I'd like to decorate that little frame using one of the smaller dies that are included in this set. I've die cut this shape a few times to create several small branches, and now I'm just going to adhere them one by one randomly over the frame top, and this way I'm going to create some lovely texture. I really like the effect that this technique produces, but I have to admit it's a bit time consuming, so if you are in a hurry and you would like to create some texture, just put this frame into an embossing folder and run it through the machine. Once I have filled the entire space with die cuts, I'm going to flip over the large die cut and I'm going to trim off everything that hangs off the edge. And as always, the tools and supplies that I'm using are listed down below in the description box as well as on my blog. At this point I realized I just couldn't throw away those tiny trim offs, and I'll be using them to fill in the tiny spaces and corners of this frame, and then I'm going to trim them off once more. And this is what my frame looks like at the moment. Now I'm gonna go ahead and continue assembling the card. I'm flipping over the frame, then I'm applying some double-sided tape around the inner outline only, and then I'm going to stick down a piece of acetate over it. This is quite an intricate shape, and now I'm going to use the scissors and trim off all the extra acetate so that no acetate is hanging off the outer edge of the frame. And this is what the shaker frame is going to look like. Now I just have to apply some double-sided tape at the wrong side of it. Again, since this is quite an intricate shape, I'm cutting the foam tape into thinner, smaller pieces. Then I'm peeling off the liner on both sides. This way the tape becomes bendable. And then I'm applying it all over the frame, just making sure it does not stick out. I'm also making sure there are no gaps left between the tape. This time I'm just going to apply a single layer of foam tape. I think that will be enough for this type of a project. Next I'm pouring some confetti right onto the center of my card. I just have to make sure all the confettis are within that lacy shape and nothing is around it. Then I'm covering up the sequins with the acetate frame. And this way the sequins will be trapped inside. I'm pressing it down all over to make sure it adheres well. Since I used really small confetti and those are by cut scrappiness, you can see that die cut shape at the background can actually keep some of them hanging in the air, so not all of them are going down when I'm shaking the card. I really like that effect. Now I'm also going to add a sentiment, and I'm going with Merry Christmas this time. This die is from one of the older Spellbinders die set. I'll put a link in the description if this set is still available. To make the sentiment pop even more, I'm going to back it up with another die cut, so I'm actually using 2 white die cuts plus 1 silver mirror die cut on top of them. Then I'm going to adhere the sentiment die cuts with the liquid adhesive in the center of the card, right on top of the acetate. The glue I'm using is Ranger Multimedia Matte. Since acetate is a non-porous material, it might take a bit longer for the glue to dry on top of it, but no more than 2 minutes anyway. Of course, at this point you can call the card done, but I just couldn't leave it alone without attaching a few more pearls to it. I'm attaching the half pearls of different sizes at the end of each swirl of the frame. I'm using the liquid adhesive, the same one that I used for the card, that's Ranger Multimedia Matte, and I'm also using my pickup pencil. And since I have some half pearls that are really small, I have decided to add even more to the texture of the shaker frame, and I'm attaching a tiny pearl at the end of each little branch. And now finally I can call my card done. Of course, a project like this would work for many other occasions like weddings, anniversaries, christenings, you name it. Thank you so much for watching this video till the end. I really appreciate it. I'll be back soon with the project number 4, and I hope to see you all again. Have a wonderful week, and until the next time, bye bye.